Under the bright luminescent panels of the Orbital Academy's Xenobiology wing, Dr. Alara Miles tapped a silver pointer against the reinforced plexiglass barrier that sealed Krail, the caged predator, from her students. The vessel's gravity subtly shifted as the ship adjusted its trajectory around a passing asteroid cluster. Krail was a specimen of ruthless predation. Sleek, obsidian scales gleaming under the harsh lights, rippling muscles coiled beneath each ridge. The class of interstellar cadets sat rigidly in their seats, scribbling notes into wristpad consoles, eyes darting between the creature and Miles's detailed diagrams. Jackson Reed, one of only 3 humans among 100 alien faces, leaned forward with calm curiosity, his hazel eyes flicking from Krail's crimson ocular ridge to the professor's lectern. He had read every report on Krelian hunting instincts and solitary pack behavior, but nothing prepared him for witnessing life and terror compressed into one cage. Dr. Miles's lecture was precise. Krail evolved on a world with gravity 1.8 times greater than Earth's, developed hyperdense muscle fibers, and hunted creatures twice its size with labyrinthine intelligence. Observe how its retinas track movement rather than color, she said, zooming the display to a close-up of a slit pupil dilating. A hush fell. The cadets whispered about the lethal potential of an unrestrained specimen. Miles paused. Krail's dominance hierarchy is built on respect, not fear. A wrong move could trigger its predator instinct. She tapped a biometric lock. Everyone tensed. The sliding cage door whispered as it unlocked. Jackson felt a prickle of anticipation. Something in the air shifted, like the calm before a storm. As Miles began to retract the door inward, a sudden tremor rattled the deck plates. Alarms blared, red lights strobing across consoles. The Academy's AI voice announced, "Gravitational compensators offline. 0G in 10 seconds." Before anyone could respond, the entire lab lurched. The massive cage swung open under the strain, its doors yanking free of the restraining clamps. Jackson's stomach dropped as Krail's enormous forepaws slid across the smooth floor. The predator's talons clacked like bone-cracking hammers. Panic ignited in the cadets. Chairs scraped the deck and bodies tumbled toward bulkhead walls. Miles shouted, "Secure the emergency force field." But the onboard generator fritzed, failing to power the barrier. The predator's low growl resonated through every chest cavity, and students screamed as they scattered. Jackson froze. Instinct kicked in. While everyone else fled in terror, he met Krail's gaze. He felt something primal stir in his blood. Adrenaline mixed with a strange serenity. Despite the chaos, the predator moved with measured grace, muscles rippling like drawn bows. His crimson eyes locked onto Jackson's hazel irises. In that heartbeat, the world narrowed. Jackson could hear his pulse echoing in his ears. The screams of terrified cadets became a distant static. He took a single step forward. The deck plates hummed under his boots. His mind calmed. He remembered every xenobiology manual's cautionary note. Predators respond to dominance cues, not violence. No show of aggression, no frantic motions, just unwavering confidence. The predator paused mid-stride, nostrils flaring as it inhaled Jackson's human scent. Jackson held perfectly still, arms at his sides, shoulders squared, not submissive but unafraid. He spoke softly, voice measured. "I see you. You're not hunting today." The words felt absurd, whispered into an uproar of panic, but Krail's head tilted, scales rustling like dry leaves. It cocked its head, studying Jackson as if debating whether to strike or inquire. Around them, cadets pressed themselves against walls, some clutching slit scanners, others frozen in horror. Miles backed away, eyes wide. Even the Academy's android guards hesitated, weapons trained but unnerved by the predator's uncharacteristic uncertainty. A tense silence filled the lab. Krail took a halting step forward. Jackson held his ground, mindful of every reflex in his muscles, every flicker in his expression. He gently lowered himself to one knee, an ancient gesture of peace across countless species. "I'm not your prey," he murmured. "We can end this without bloodshed." The predator growled low in its throat, claws scraping lightly against the deck. Then, astonishingly, it settled. With deliberate slowness, Krail lowered its massive haunches and folded its forelegs beneath its chest, bowing its head in a posture of submission, its tail sweeping the floor in a soft hiss. A collective gasp rippled through the room as human and alien predator shared a moment of mutual comprehension. Dr. Miles exhaled, recovering her composure. She raised a calming hand, her voice trembling with awe. "Jackson Reed, maintain eye contact and keep breathing slowly." Krail's head lifted, crimson eyes still locked on Jackson's steady gaze. Every digital recorder in the room began capturing data, heart rates, pheromone readings, neural patterns. The Academy's AI announced, "Specimen K, 43 exhibits unprecedented cooperative behavior." Miles approached with cautious steps, signaling the android guards to stand down. "Well done," she whispered to Jackson. "Now, guide it back to its cage." Jackson nodded, rising and stepping toward Krail as if leading an old friend. Krail rose to all fours, muscles rippling, and turned toward the open cage. With Jackson walking slowly ahead, the predator followed. Cadets watched in stunned silence as the unlikely pair traversed the lab's length. Every creature's survival script activated the caution protocols, but Krail remained calm, eyes flicking to Jackson's back. When they reached the cage, Miles sealed the doors with biometric commands. The generator hiccuped back to life, humming the force field into existence. Krail exhaled a heavy breath and lay down inside the reinforced cell, head resting on folded paws. Jackson placed a hand lightly on the plexiglass, palm flat over the predator's gaze. For a moment, they shared a silent acknowledgement. Predator and human, each recognizing the other's strength. Security teams arrived seconds later, scanners raised and weapons holstered. They found a lab full of shaken but unharmed cadets, gathering around Jackson like he'd performed a miracle. News feeds lit up with the incident. Human student subdues Krail predator through unarmed dominance. Federation officials flagged the event for immediate study. Xenobiologists hailed it as a breakthrough in interspecies communication. Even rival academies sent congratulations, careful to avoid suggesting envy. Jackson stood at the center of attention, cheeks flushed but composed. He answered questions in his calm voice, explaining the ancient principle: respect commands respect. I offered no threat, and the predator didn't perceive me as prey. In the aftermath, Dr. Miles adjusted her lecture plan to include Jackson's encounter as a live case study. The class replayed hollow recordings frame by frame, analyzing microexpressions, posture shifts, pheromone readings. Jackson assisted in decoding the signals that led Krail to submit. He walked fellow students through the sequence: eye contact, measured breathing, controlled body language. Across the galaxy, xenobiology textbooks began a new chapter on consensual dominance hierarchies. Humans, once seen as fragile bipeds, proved that confidence and empathy could tame even the most lethal predators. Weeks later, as the Academy's corridors returned to routine, Jackson found himself summoned to the command deck. Hollow projections of dignitaries hovered above polished consoles. Dr. Miles stood beside Admiral Renchavik of the Galactic Council. "Reed," the Admiral said, "your actions embody the spirit of humanity's resilience. We request your participation in developing training modules for all species." Jackson nodded, realizing that a single calm heartbeat had shifted interstellar understanding. He glanced toward Krail's containment cell, where the predator watched him with unblinking eyes. A silent promise passed between them: mutual respect could bridge worlds. As Jackson departed the command deck, he carried a quiet pride. The human capacity for courage without cruelty had rewritten the rules of engagement with alien predators. Across the Academy, whispers of human locked eyes and it lay down became legend. And in distant systems, biology councils debated new protocols, born from one boy's unwavering confidence and one beast's choice to yield. In that moment, the galaxy witnessed humanity's finest hour, not with weapons raised, but through the simple power of letting another know they are seen.